Hello students, today we have to study 6.5 transcription. Under this point, the subpoints are 6.5.1 transcription unit, 6.5.2 transcription unit and the gene, 6.5.3 the process of transcription. So these are the three subpoints which will come under the main point 6.5 transcription. This point is from chapter number 6, Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and it is from Unit 7, Genetics and Evolution. First, we must know about the central dogma of molecular biology. In 1958, Crick proposed central dogma of molecular biology. It can be represented as the DNA will form the messenger RNA and RNA further give rise to the proteins. So the genetic information flows from DNA to RNA from protein. Unidirectional flow of genetic information from DNA to RNA, from RNA to protein is called as a central dogma of molecular biology. When DNA forms the messenger RNA, the process is called as a transcription. And when the proteins are formed from the messenger RNA, the process is called as a translation. So transcription and translation, these are two major steps of protein synthesis. Proteins are the most important biological molecules of living system. They form structural and functional components of the cell. Hence, proteins synthesis is the most vital and fundamental process. Indeed, gene expresses through protein synthesis. To understand the process of transcription, we must know first the transcription unit. The transcription unit is mainly consisting of three regions. The first one is called as the promoter, initiate the process of transcription 5' end upstream. Second component is structural gene, which codes of RNA. RNA polymerase is the enzyme which is helpful for the process. The third structure is terminator region, where terminates the transcription. It is present at 3' end downstream. Additional regulatory genes present upstream and downstream to promoter regulate transcription. So here in this diagram you will find the promoter region where the process starts. Transcription start site. Then in between promoter and terminator, there are structural genes are present. They code for polypeptide. And the third region is terminator region. It helps in ending the transcription process. Here you will find the DNA strand. DNA is a double-stranded. The two strands have anti-parallel polarity. DNA strand having polarity 3' to 5' is called as a template strand, whereas DNA strand having polarity 5' to 3' is called as a coding strand. So this is the coding strand. The polarity is 5' to 3', whereas the template strand is having the 3' to 5'. And on this template strand, the RNA is formed. Our next point is transcription unit and the gene. The cistron is the structural gene. It is a functional unit of DNA molecule that codes for a specific protein. Recon, it is the unit of DNA that undergoes recombination. Muton, it is the unit of DNA that is capable of undergoing mutation. And the replicon, it is the unit of DNA that undergoes replication. So, recon, muton, and replicon, they show the properties. And cistron is nothing but the functional unit of the DNA. So, there are two types of structural genes, monocistronic structural gene and the polycistronic gene. So here you will find the monocistronic structural gene, genes which code for only one messenger RNA and translate to one protein. So generally in the eukaryotes, the monocistronic genes are present and they will have interrupted coding sequence, that is the genes are split. The coding express sequence, exon sequence which appear in mature and processed DNA. That is the mature RNA is formed, then you will find at that time the exon is present. Exons interrupted by introns and do not appear in mature. When the processed RNA or functional RNA occur at that time, introns are removed. So, in eukaryotes, the monocistronic genes are present. And in prokaryotes, polycistronic genes are present. Polycistronic genes means genes which synthesize one messenger RNA but can translate more than one protein. Polycistronic genes are present in prokaryotes. And the regulatory gene do not code for RNA or protein. So you have to remember in eukaryotes and in prokaryotes what type of the genes are present. In eukaryote, monocistronic genes are present, which are also called as a split genes. That is, they are having exon coding sequence and introns non-coding sequence. Whereas in prokaryotic genes, they are polycistronic. That is, they code for more proteins. Our next point is the process of transcription. Transcription process. Transcription has three steps: initiation, elongation, and termination. Initiation. RNA polymerase binds with the promoter to initiate the process of transcription. Association with initiation factor, sigma factor, alters the specificity of RNA polymerase to initiate the transcription. So the first step is the initiation. In the initiation process, the RNA polymerase binds to the promoter region. The next is elongation. RNA polymerase uses nucleotides triphosphate as substrate and polymerization occur according to the complementary. Complementary means the complementary base pairing. Always A pairs with T and C pairs with G. So here messenger RNA is formed on the template strand. So what will happen? The thymine place is taken by the uracil. As it is a RNA, the uracil is formed instead of thymine. That is called as a complementary. Next, the third step is termination. Termination occurs when termination factor, Rho factor, alters the specificity of RNA polymerase to terminate the transcription. As the RNA polymerase proceeds to perform elongation, a short stretch of RNA remains bound to the enzyme. As the enzyme reaches the termination region, this nascent or newly formed RNA falls off and transcription is terminated. So, with the help of these three steps, that is the initiation, elongation and termination, the process will occur. And the RNA polymerase is the main enzyme along with the factors sigma factor and Rho factor. The process will proceed. Now we have to study how the transcription occurs in prokaryote. Already I have told you in prokaryotes, polycistronic genes are present. Here you will find in the prokaryotes, the process of transcription is completed in 3 steps. Initiation. RNA polymerase binds with the initiation factor, sigma factor, and then binds to the promoter site. Second is elongation. RNA polymerase separates from the sigma factor and adds nucleoside triphosphate as substrate. RNA is formed during the process following the rule of complementary and remains bound to the enzyme RNA polymerase. And third is termination. On reaching the termination region, RNA polymerase binds with Rho factor, terminator factor. As a result, newly formed RNA separates. So in case of a prokaryotes, you will find there is no clear demarcation between the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Therefore, translation can begin even before the transcription is completed. Thus, in prokaryote, transcription and translation are coupled. So, prokaryotes, you will find the cytoplasm and nucleus. They are not clearly identified because the nucleus is without nuclear membrane. Therefore, what will happen? The process of translation can begin before the transcription is completed. In this region, you will find the representation of this process in prokaryotes. Here you will find initiation, elongation, termination. Here you will find the 2 DNA strands, the 3' to 5' and 5' to 3'. The template strand is 3' to 5'. Now what will happen? In the promoter region, the RNA polymerase attach with the help of this sigma factor. That is the initiation. Then it proceeds further and the new RNA is formed by following the rule of complementary base carrying. As it is a RNA, what will happen? The thymine place is taken by the uracil. And in the elongation, here you will find the terminator region, the Rho factor is present and RNA polymerase separate and newly formed RNA separates. So in this way, initiation, elongation and termination occurs in the prokaryotes. Next, the transcription in eukaryotes. So in eukaryotes, 3 types of RNA polymerases found in the nucleus, in addition to RNA polymerase found in the organelles, are involved in the transcription. So 3 types of RNA polymerases are RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2 and RNA polymerase 3. RNA polymerase 1 transcribes ribosomal RNA. RNA polymerase 2 transcribes the messenger RNA and RNA polymerase 3 transcribes the transfer RNA. So here you can remember 3 marks question may come. Name the different types of the RNA polymerase and mention their function. So RNA polymerase 1, it transcribes rRNA, ribosomal RNA. RNA polymerase 2, they transcribes the messenger RNA. And RNA polymerase 3, they transcribe the transfer RNA. Then the primary transcription has both exon and intron regions. Introns, which are non-coding regions, removed by the process of splicing. HNRNA undergoes additional processes. HN means heterogeneous nuclear RNA and that is the non-functional. It becomes the functional after undergoing the 2 processes that is called as a capping and telling. Capping and unusual nucleotides, methyl guanosine triphosphate is added to 5' end of HNRNA. And in a telling process, adenylate residues 200 to 300 are added at 3' end. It is fully processed HNRNA. Now it is called messenger RNA and it is transported out of the nucleus. So in the prokaryotes, you will find the presence of 3 types of the enzymes, RNA polymerase 1, 2, and 3, and also 2 more processes capping and telling occurs to make the non-functional RNA to the functional RNA. In this diagram, you will get an idea how the process will go. Here you will find the capping process and telling process and the splicing of the messenger RNA, where you will find the introns are removed, and it is called as a splicing. And finally, the process messenger RNA is formed, and that is called as a transcription in eukaryotes. So in this presentation, we have studied the transcription unit and the gene and the process of transcription. Thank you.